So before you do this job, you want to keep in mind that after you're done, you're going to have to go to an alignment shop and have the vehicle aligned so you don't burn out your tires and have premature tire wear. Now I'm going to remove the wheel, use a 22mm socket, take off the lug nuts. Take the wheel off. I'm going to take the sway bar link out. Now this link's been replaced before. If you had the OEM link, you're going to need to use some pliers at the top of this. For this one, I'm going to use a 14mm wrench and a 14mm socket on the bottom. And just take this out. If it's still good, you can reuse it. Right, I'm going to take these axle bolts out. Before I take this out, I just want to mark the flange, just so when I put it back together, it goes together the same way it came apart. Just use some paint or a marker. Now I'm going to use a 15mm socket and take these bolts out. Now I can separate this and just slide this down out of the way. Now I'll take a 36mm socket and take the axle nut off. And take this washer off as well. There we go. Now if the axle's stuck in there, you're going to want to use a punch and a hammer and tap it out that way. If it's not stuck, then you can just grab the axle and just slide it out. Now we need to take the torsion bar keyways out. When we take this bolt out, you can take a tape measure and just measure where the bolt was. So a little more than ½ an inch, almost 3/4 of an inch right there. So you can put it back to where it was, or you can put a line on your socket and just count the threads when you take it out. I'm using a 18mm socket. Now next I need to take this bracket out, but because the keyway is putting pressure on it, I can't take it out. So you need a special tool like this, specifically made for this. There's a little nub on the top. There's a hole in this bracket right here. Just slide this through here over the cross member. As you tighten the keyway up, once there's an air gap on top of that, you can take that bracket out. Just try to slide this out. Watch your fingers. Once you get that out, you can take the tool off. Alright, now I'm going to use a punch and a big hammer and just tap. You want to tap the torsion bar straight forward. And when it starts moving, just be careful of the keyway, because the keyway could just fall. If that doesn't work, I'm going to use an air chisel and try to slide that forward. There we go, starting to get movement. You can take a little rust penetrant and spray down the cam, and you can also spray down the lower control arm. There we go. All right, so that popped out, and there's the keyway. All right, so there's no tension from the torsion bar on the lower control arm, but I'm going to take a screw jack and just support the lower control arm, just about that much, and then I'm going to take the shock bolt out, use a 21mm socket and a 21mm wrench. Take that bolt out. Now I can lower the screw jack. Now the upper control arm is eventually going to get supported by that ear right there. So once we take the control arm out, the knuckle's going to fall a little bit, but it'll be supported right there, or even by the tension on the upper control arm bushings. Now I'm going to take a 24mm socket and loosen up this nut. We don't have to take it off completely. We can leave a couple threads on there. And then we're going to separate the ball joint from the knuckle. All right, I'm going to use a pickle fork to separate this. There is other tools you could use that actually grab on here and just push it through. Use whatever works for you. There we go. And now I'm going to take the control arm bushing bolts out. I'm going to use a 15/16 wrench or a 24mm wrench on the nut, and then use an 18mm socket on the bolt. And I'm not going to take the bolt out yet. I'm going to get the other one off first. There's a washer also. Take those washers off. Now try to slide those bolts out. You can tap them out with a hammer. And use a pry bar. Just pry this out. I'll just slide the torsion bar straight forward. And you can slide it back. And just slide it out. Now we can take this nut off. And slide the control arm out. When you take the torsion bar out, you want to keep in mind which direction it came out, and if you mark it with which end is the back and which end is the front. Just take the grease fitting, get the grease fitting started, and take a 7mm wrench and just snug it up. That's good. All right, now we'll just put this in the same way it came out. Start with the ball joint and put the nut on. Now we'll just slide the torsion bar back in position. Remember, the back goes towards the back of the vehicle. Slide this through the front. And go through the cross member over here. And towards the back of the vehicle. All right, now just line the control arm up. Just be careful, watch your fingers. You can use a pry bar if you have to. Get in between here and take the bolt. Slide the bolt in. Make sure you put those little washers on. And same with this one. Now we're going to tighten up the lower ball joint nut. Snug that up first. Then we're going to torque it. And then torque this nut to 74 foot-pounds. So now we want to tighten these two bolts. Now when you tighten these down, because of the bushings there, you want this lower control arm as close to ride height as possible. So I'm going to use a screw jack and raise this up to how it would be for ride height, as close as possible. Ideally, you want to put this all back together and torque these while it's on the ground, but it's kind of hard to access these bolts while the vehicle's on the ground. So we'll do it now. That looks good. Just going to snug these up first. And now with my 15/16 wrench, an 18mm socket, I will torque these to 129 foot-pounds. There we go. Now we can lower this down. As I lower this down, I'll get the shock bolt, line that up. I'll snug this up first. Then I'll torque the lower shock bolt to 59 foot-pounds. Now I can lower the screw jack, put it out of the way. I can slide the axle back in. CV shaft. And just line this up with the mark that you made. That's good right there. And get these bolts started. Now I'm just going to snug these up first. Now I'm going to torque these bolts to 58 foot-pounds, and to prevent the axle from spinning, I can use a pry bar and just hold the lug nuts. Go in between the lug nuts and just go around one at a time. Made it all the way around. Now I'll put the washer back on and then the nut. Snug this down first. Now you could lower the vehicle down to the ground and just use a pry bar to prevent this from spinning, or you can just torque it like this and torque this nut to 177 foot-pounds. All right, now you can always take a wire brush and just clean some of the rust out of the keyway, and same with the torsion bar. And just slide the keyway back in position. And slide the torsion bar in, just like that. Try to get it as close as it was when you took it apart. Looks pretty good. You can always compare it to the other side. Now we'll take the tool, line this back up. All right, now I'll tighten this up. And take that bracket and slide it through. Now the round part goes on the bottom. Just keep your fingers out of there. That's good. Loosen up on the tool. The bolt, get the bolt started. And when you put this back in, you can always count the turns going back in, put it back where it was. Or take your tape measure and just double check. Maybe a little bit looser than it. There we go up there, that looks good. You can always check your ride height adjustment afterwards at the tires and adjust accordingly. Put the sway bar link back in. And get the nut started on top. Take my wrench, snug this up. And we're going to torque this to 89 inch-pounds. Make sure you're on inch-pounds, not on foot-pounds. And reinstall the wheel. And put the lug nuts on. Now I'm going to torque these lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. I'll just go around again and double check.